Let's get right into it. Number 1. The broken microscope, 3 dots in a text bubble. A coworker glances at their phone. Someone's tone shifts by half a degree, and suddenly you're wide awake at night asking, "What did I do?" Psychologically, this comes from an overactive threat detection system. Research linked to National Institutes of Health shows that people with ADHD or past emotional trauma can detect perceived social threats up to 3 times more intensely than average. Your brain isn't calm, it's scanning. Here's the expensive part. Your brain would rather produce a false alarm than miss a real threat, so it treats uncertainty as evidence. A pause becomes rejection. A neutral face becomes disapproval. Silence becomes they're mad. And once your brain picks that story, it starts filtering reality to match it. You scan harder, you replay everything, you become tense, overly careful, or you pull back. People then feel the tension and respond a little differently, and your brain goes, "See? Proof." That's the loop. Hypervigilance creates the vibe it fears, then uses that vibe as confirmation. So the goal isn't to turn off your antenna, that's impossible. The goal is to recalibrate the microscope. Number 2, the rejection sensitivity. This is when your brain reacts to possible rejection as if it already happened. A delayed reply feels like disapproval. A neutral tone sounds cold. A small change in someone's behavior suddenly means they don't like me anymore. Even when there's no proof, your body reacts first. Tight chest, overthinking, pulling back. Rejection sensitivity usually forms when acceptance once felt unpredictable, when being liked felt conditional. So your brain learned to stay alert, always scanning for signs. The problem is, it doesn't just detect rejection, it anticipates it. And anticipation feels just as real as the thing itself. This is why the fear of being hated feels constant. Not because people are rejecting you, but because your nervous system is trained to expect it before it even happens. Number 3, the spotlight effect. This is the feeling that everything you do is being watched. Every awkward sentence, every small mistake, even something as simple as a stain on your shirt. Your brain tells you people are noticing, judging, remembering. Like you're standing under a bright stage light while everyone else is in the dark. But psychologically, that's not what's actually happening. The spotlight effect means we overestimate how much attention other people pay to us. Studies show we can be wrong by almost 50%. People think half the room notices their mistake, when in reality, most people don't notice at all. And if they do, they forget about it almost immediately. Why? Because everyone else is busy worrying about themselves. Their own words, their own mistakes, their own stains. The fear of being hated often starts here. Not because people are watching you, but because your brain exaggerates how important you are in their eyes. Turn the spotlight down and you realize something simple. You were never the main focus to begin with. Number 4, the parental performance echo. As a child, you were praised when you behaved well, when you got good grades, when you didn't cause trouble. Love felt present when you performed correctly. Neuroscience shows that praise activates dopamine, the brain's reward chemical, especially in children. Over time, your brain learned a simple rule. Approval equals safety. When approval disappeared, safety felt at risk. So as an adult, being liked doesn't feel optional, and it feels necessary. You watch what you say, you soften your opinions, you avoid conflict, not because you're dishonest, but because your nervous system remembers what happened when you disappointed people. This is how conditional love turns into people-pleasing. You're not afraid of being hated because you're weak. You're afraid because rejection still feels like proof that you're no longer safe, no longer valued. And here's the uncomfortable question. Are you living your life or performing for approval you no longer need? Number 5, the paradox of authenticity. The more you try to please everyone, the more you fade into the background. When you constantly adjust your tone, your opinions, and your reactions, people don't feel drawn to you. They feel nothing. Psychology shows it works backward. Studies from Harvard University suggest that authenticity earns significantly more respect, even when others disagree with you. Why? Because honesty creates edges. Edges create boundaries. Boundaries signal self-trust. The most liked people aren't liked because they're harmless. They're liked because they're real. They accept the risk of being disliked, and that risk, that's what makes them magnetic. People-pleasing doesn't build connection, it flattens it. Remember, when someone reacts negatively to your truth, it's rarely about you. They're simply projecting their own insecurities onto the one person brave enough not to hide theirs. Number 6, external validation addiction. Your self-worth works like a phone with a dying battery. It feels fine when it's plugged in. Compliments, likes, replies, approval. But the moment the charger comes out, everything starts shutting down. No notifications means something must be wrong with you. Silence feels personal. And over time, you hand the power to people who aren't even paying attention. Psychologically, this happens when confidence is built outside instead of inside. So every reaction becomes a measurement, every response becomes a verdict. The fear of being hated grows here because without constant validation, your sense of value collapses. You're not addicted to people, you're addicted to the feeling of being reassured that you matter. And when others hold that control, your peace becomes as fragile as their attention. Number 7, the perfectionism trap. This is when you confuse flawlessness with safety. Every sentence gets edited, every message gets softened. Every version of you has to pass an invisible quality check before it's allowed outside. Psychologically, perfectionism is strongly linked to social anxiety, according to the American Psychological Association, where the fear of being seen as imperfect becomes paralyzing. For many young people, this doesn't look like ambition. It looks like hesitation. You're not living your life. You're curating a catalog of a perfect human that never actually exists. And the irony is brutal. The more you try to eliminate criticism, the more disconnected you become. Mistakes aren't what make people reject you. Distance does. Perfectionism doesn't protect you from being hated. It prevents you from being known. So if you're afraid everyone hates you, it doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means your brain learned to stay alert to survive. So ask yourself this: who would you be if being disliked didn't feel dangerous? If this resonated, leave a comment, hit like, and subscribe for more Psychology Explained.